What's up, Speak For Yourself listeners? It's your boy Shay Sharp, co-host of FS1's Undisputed. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now, back to Speak For Yourself.
Welcome to Speak For Yourself, Marcellus Wiley.
My guy.
Immaculate Emmanuel.
I'm a little dark today, though, Marcellus. I'm a little dark. You know?
You just got that memo? Since birth. Check the certificate.
Actually, I was born light-skinned.
Oh,
I had to. I grew into my dark skinnedness.
Yeah.
And my dark skin takes.
I got a lot more jokes there, but I like my employment. So let's get to our top story brought to you by Popeye's Chicken Sandwich. Oh, apropos. Tom Brady is headed to his 10th Super Bowl after his Bucs beat the Packers Sunday. Brady already has 6 Super Bowl rings and is considered to be the GOAT among quarterbacks. But his latest achievement has sparked the question if his greatness surpasses all athletes. So, Acho, if you stop laughing, I can ask this question. Is Tom Brady the greatest athlete of all time?
No, and it's not even close. Marcellus, Tom Brady's an amazing quarterback, but you know what I can't stand? And I've seen you do this a time or two.
You can't stand me?
No, I can't stand something you've done a time or two.
Okay.
You try to make Tom Brady the greatest at everything. Right? He's the greatest quarterback, so he's got to be the greatest author, the greatest husband. You make him the greatest everything. Can he just be the greatest quarterback? That's it.
That's limited.
Marcellus,
No.
Michael Phelps, 28 Olympic medals. Michael Phelps got 28 Olympic medals. I wouldn't claim he's the greatest athlete. Have you seen a swimmer out of water?
I thought you were going to go Michael Phelps.
I'm not going there.
Oh, okay. Don't dive in the deep end like that.
Jack Nicklaus, 18 major championships.
Golf?
That's my point.
Okay.
And I wouldn't say that he's the greatest athlete. Let's talk Katie Ledecky, 15 world championship titles, most of any swimmer. I wouldn't say that she's the greatest athlete.
Well, who are you going to say?
I would say, can I say Bo Jackson? Can I say a person that was an all-star in both athletes? Can I say Deion Sanders? Can I say Deion Sanders, who played 14 years in the league, but also 9 in the majors? Can I talk about an athlete who has done it both at a high level? Can I talk Kyler Murray, only quarterback, a top 10 draft pick in both sports? When you're talking greatest athlete, let's delineate, people. Because I see the belly laughs you're getting like a Santa Claus. Okay? But you don't look like Santa Claus anymore. So
I know about your life outside the studio. You better stop talking to me. Don't start shooting at me.
Here's what I'm going to say.
Yes, sir.
We have to delineate. Athlete, I have to talk about athleticism. Athlete, I have to talk about, can you transcend both sports? Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback. Tom Brady may be the greatest winner in sports. But when you say athlete, you're talking about athleticism. I'm not talking about what you did at one position well. Tom Brady is not nearly the greatest athlete.
I could rip up all of this. I thought you prepped for this segment.
I did.
Man,
I did.
You did? You came out here and went to the swimming pool, went to the golf course,
we went
and didn't
everywhere.
even answer. Who were you? Bo Jackson? I mean, short-lived.
The question is Tom Brady the greatest? Not who is the greatest, okay?
Okay. Tom Brady's the greatest athlete of all time. Let me do one of our jobs and answer the damn question. And, you know, this is funny because in my prep for this conversation, I was the most anxious. I had the most anxiety ever on this show working with you, Acho, because I didn't know who you were going to pick. I mean, there's thousands and thousands. It feels like millions of athletes to choose from. Then you got, obviously, like you said, delineate. You got to get to a certain level where you're like, these guys only qualify. And there still was a dozen or so. And I was like, who is Acho going to pick? Then I started to think, who is Acho? I was like, he's super single. Okay, that ain't gonna help me. I was like, all right. He just wrote a book about racism. I was like, all right, that ain't gonna help me. Well, maybe a black athlete. I don't know. I ain't know where to go. And then you come out here and jump in the swimming pool and just drown. I was like, come on, man. Okay, one, let's separate best from greatest.
Yes, please.
We have to.
Let's do that.
Because the best athlete ever is somebody we all know from the hood or somebody we grew up with. But man, damn, why you have all them kids? Or why you couldn't stay focused?
Fair.
Like, best athlete, when you're being literal like you are, is about athleticism. Who jumps the highest, who can jump the farthest, who can run the fastest, etc. But Tom Brady is the greatest athlete. One, by accomplishment and accolade. We know that. But two, because he doesn't even have to be the best. But when you sum up all of those skill sets, and think about it, Acho, I don't know how great you are physically on a football field. I didn't play with you, and I just got to listen to your stories and other stories, which is all hearsay because I didn't see Acho day to day. But I look at you now, I was like, damn, he looked like a stud. He looked like he could ball. So the point is, whatever you look like and whatever you can do, whatever I could do, whatever I look like, Tom Brady's like, looks are deceiving. I will be greater than all your skill sets you can give me. Go. How fast are you? Are you faster than me? How far can you throw? You can throw it farther than me? Oh, okay. Every attribute you can name.
Like where you going?
Tom Brady says, add it all up, and it's still not enough. Aaron Rodgers, you're more talented than Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers, you have this tremendous skill set that is entering you into the GOAT conversation you don't even belong in. But take that to Cabo, bruh, because you are not Tom Brady, who is the greatest of all time. I don't have anyone to pit him against in this conversation right now because you didn't give me anybody. But I will say this in my last layer of my first lap. Tom Brady is playing also the ultimate team sport, where there are more variables than any other sport. When you talk about individual sports, as great as it is that it's all on you, is also all on you. You don't have to worry about others and motivating them and leading them. It's you're the only one that has to be accountable. So I also look at that situation and demerit individual sport athletes because Tom Brady's like, not only do I have to be great, I have to make others great, even when they're not focused, even when they're not committed, even when they're not good enough. And Tom Brady has added all those ingredients up, good and bad, and made it the greatest. Tom Brady's the GOAT.
I like your take. I like your take. I'm not mad at your take. The issue here is I don't have to give you one person because I'm taking the field. You're taking an individual.
Great point.
Right? Is Tom Brady the greatest athlete of all time? You taking Tom. I'm taking the field. Okay. So for me, it could be a Bo Jackson. For me, it could be a Deion Sanders. Because where I'm going is I'm going off of athleticism, Sel.
Damn, I knew we were going to have this conversation.
How can you...
So we doing boat?
Yes.
Best of all time.
How can you tell me
Stace Bozeman, then. You know who he is? No.
Tom Brady is the greatest winner, but Tom Brady's not even the greatest athlete at his position. Like, be real. Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, be real. Lamar Jackson is a greater athlete at the position. Man. Tom Brady is a greater winner. If you want to call Tom Brady a greater, great. Then do that. But don't sit here and try to tell me that Tom Brady, who isn't as fast, isn't as strong, isn't as mobile, isn't as good off script as Aaron Rodgers, isn't any of those things, or Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, who is a greater runner, who is greater doing more things, who can play multiple positions in the same league that Tom Brady is in. Don't tell me he is a greater athlete. You know you went to Columbia. You know I'm an intelligent individual. We want to talk words. Let's talk words. We want to talk the meaning of them. Let's talk the meaning of them. But don't sit up here and tell me Tom Brady's a greater athlete.
Hey,
what up, big dog?
Man, I wanted a barbershop argument. Like, I really, look, I ain't got no hair, but I was going to go in there and give him my $20 and wait 5 hours.
Only $20? You know how much? That's how I know you don't go to barbershops.
It's more than $20?
Haircut sale costs in L.A. $50. If you make an appointment, $60, big dog.
You paying $60 for that?
Yes.
You need to get your money, at least some of it back, dog. You got 2 stripes like in the 80s. Boy, what you in, New Jack City? Boy, you better get up out of here. Here's the thing. I'm in the barbershop, and you decide to go to the salon with this conversation. You know what? Who's the best? Who could jump the highest? Give a damn how high you jump. This ain't the combine. I need to know what you can do on the field. Make it translate, or I'm going to start talking bad about you. Also, Tom Brady was drafted in baseball, since you want to give Deion Sanders and Bo.
Where was he drafted? 18th round? Do your homework.
Where was he drafted in football? 6th round. You and Tom Brady drafted in the same round. What the hell? Don't be trying to hate on Tom Brady. And I love Deion Sanders. I got to get him out this conversation because it's going to hurt me. I love Deion Sanders. Here's the thing. If you look at Tom Brady's greatness, it's so contagious. Like, he's the common denominator of one dynasty. He's the common denominator of a second dynasty. And damn it, in a couple weeks, if he goes out there and wins and they return to form, he may be the common denominator of a third dynasty. Bruh, peep this. Tom Brady, in his 10th Super Bowl, potentially can win his 7th Super Bowl, and no one else has even played more than 6 Super Bowls. Dude, he's lapping the field. Didn't Lil Wayne have a verse about that? He's like, y'all thought I was running. Nah, that was my victory lap. I'm just jogging. That's
a bar.
No, he's jogging. He's 43 in a Craftmatic luxury chair and still lapping Aaron Rodgers, who's more talented and more skilled than him. Still lapping Drew Brees, who I don't know if he's more talented or skilled, but certainly was a dragon to slay. This is Tom Brady going to a new team saying, oh, y'all thought it was just Belichick and I could take Belichick out of this. No slight to Belichick and his greatness, but now replicate that greatness somewhere else.
Then let me ask you
give me something to
Let
fight
me ask you
against.
this, big dog.
Yes.
Because you undermined your answer in your answer, which is actually pretty outrageous, but yet and still enlightening. Tom Brady, say this then. Say he's the greatest motivator of all time. Say Tom Brady is
that's
the
Tony
greatest.
Robbins.
Say Tom Brady. Say Tom Brady is the greatest galvanizer of winning and of men of all time.
No, that's Bishop Noel Jones. I got answers for all this.
You just said Aaron Rodgers is more talented. You said Aaron Rodgers is more skilled.
Yes, yes.
So while answering your question, you're still saying that Aaron Rodgers is probably a greater athlete, but Tom Brady's a greater winner.
I'm saying he's
you're
a better
undermining your answer.
I love that. Boy, shout outs to all the arguments I've had on this same conversation because I'm sticking in greater and you're sticking in better. And it's fine. I'm not even mad at you. I don't even think you're
What's the
wrong.
difference? What's the difference?
Okay, better means, look, me and you, mano y mano, boom. Who's the best of that? And then in this context, there is no mano y mano. One, Tom Brady doesn't even go against Aaron Rodgers. We all know that. Duh. So he goes against their defense, and then they go against our defense. And if our defense is better, like we saw last week, then you got a problem. But we're not saying that. We're saying because of your presence and your performance, you have made everything greater, as I love to always quote, greater than the sum of its parts.
Correct.
Tom Brady has taken no name after no name and made him into a household name. Let me give you one example. People don't know this, or at least they don't profess it all the time. Wes Welker, who was borderline Hall of Fame before the Denver, and even in Denver he was balling, but the concussion kind of short-lived, whatever. Wes Welker was a San Diego Charger who was released to the Miami Dolphins, who was just okay, all right. And then he finds Tom Brady on his journeyman path. And then all of a sudden, you know who he becomes? Wes Welker. Now, I could keep going with those examples because it happens so many times. There are guys who gravitate to Tom Brady and have their greatest success. And then they get away from Tom Brady and they're just less than. Versus Tom Brady, who has his greatest success in New England, and now he's left there and is still on that same level of great success. Not better in terms of physical attributes. I got into the league from Columbia because I was a better athlete than guys at big schools. Basically, you go to the combine, they're like, wait a minute. And then you do your pro day, they're like, wait a minute. This dude from Alabama only jumped 32 inches and Marcellus did 39. Did he only bench press 225 25 times and Marcellus did it 35? So I'm a better athlete. But was I a greater player? First of all, I'm not even not even close because I don't have the resume, the accolades, the performance that touched others to make them great.
So your definition, because I've given this definition of greatness before. I was asked on a podcast, Emmanuel, what is your definition of greatness? And
Yes,
I
I need
said,
to
how
know.
great you can get others around you to become. That was my definition of greatness. The problem you're ignoring is athlete. How can you look at Deion Sanders?
Okay.
Probably the best defensive back, arguably, in NFL history.
Maybe the best athlete ever.
That's my point.
But
you got my point.
Is
You
Tom
just
Brady
said
the
it.
best athlete of all time?
You.
What is you? Hook 'em horns? What the hell y'all doing other than hooking horns?
So you just
y'all
said
need to go
Deion Sanders is the best athlete of all time.
Look, you want to change the B block? Let's do best athlete of all time. I'm ripping up everything that says Tom Brady name on it. He's not even close. But dog, didn't we grow up with better athletes? But who became greater in terms of their sport? You became a greater athlete. And this is what I don't like about the fans and media, myself included. We look at Acho in a 4-year career, or they look at me in a 10-year career and then see someone else who's greater and see someone who's less than and starts to shoot at those guys. Acho, let's talk about the ones who didn't even make it that were better than both of us. Better athletes. But did they make it?
But big dog,
No,
you
'cause we're
can
greater.
have a greater career. No, you can have a better career, but not be a better athlete. I think that's where you are wrong. Tom Brady has had a better career than every other quarterback. He's had a better career than, I would argue, every other player. But Tom Brady hasn't been a better athlete because the difference in what's made Tom Brady a greater athlete, if you will, or a better athlete, if you will, are things that have nothing to do with athleticism. What do I mean? Tom Brady, the mind, the cerebral aspect, things that have nothing to do with athleticism. Tom Brady wisely said, I'm going to leave Boston, I'm going to leave New England, and I'm going to go to Tampa. That wasn't an athletic decision. That was a wise, calculated mental decision of, I have a better chance of winning elsewhere. But by going and winning elsewhere, you're now saying Tom Brady's a greater athlete. That decision had nothing to do with athletics. That was a straight cerebral and mental decision, which you're now diluting and polluting the argument of athleticism.
Oh, finally we went somewhere where we can really have a conversation. You ever work with a sports psychologist?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Got my degree in it, the master's.
Well, you need to work with one too, because you obviously didn't learn from yourself.
Talk to me.
All right. A sports psychologist will tell you that the playing field is not just the physical aspect.
Of course.
Not just the physical elements, not just what you see, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about intangibles. Like, let's expand our scope beyond traditional athletics, because growing up, be real, you can bench press all you want, push-ups all you want, go out there and win or lose based off of the physical elements. But then you will encounter, as you grow up, as you evolve, as the game gets tougher, someone who's less than doing more than you. And you're like, how? And then all of a sudden you meet a sports psychologist and he'll start talking to you about mental elements, attributes, right?
Absolutely.
To me, athletics embodies not just the physical body, the mental part as well. Intangibles, immeasurables, visualization, belief, confidence, determination, discipline, everything you see on a weight room in every high school across America. Joe, if you're a person that can respect and fully grasp and then internalize those mental aspects, to me, that's athleticism at its finest. And to me, that's what makes Tom Brady the greatest athlete.
Let me say this. I don't think that is pure athletics. We're going somewhere.
Okay.
Because
I know you are.
It's the difference between, and track with me here, because you was talking after the show one time, and you was talking about you got in shape and how you got in shape. You got in shape because you started talking about carbs.
I started off my net carbs.
And what's the difference?
Net carbs is you got to subtract the fiber, the sugar, alcohol.
Bingo. What you're talking about with athleticism is not pure athleticism. You have now made other intangibles into your athleticism, which is what people do with this conversation, which is why they remove the purification of this conversation. Marcellus, let's talk pure athleticism. You out here bringing in intangibles and mental fortitude and how great your coach is and how great you respond to your coach. I'm saying, hey, if you give me a sport, whatever the sport you want to make it, how well will I succeed? Deion Sanders, give me a bat. Okay, we can play 9 years. Deion Sanders, give me some cleats. Okay, I can backpedal for 14 years. Deion, give me whatever you want to give me, and I'm going to ball. You ain't got to give me all this different types of coaching and all these other things. I'm talking about the simplification of an athlete.
Okay, that conversation will be forever long. There are so many guys. I got a wild card, a dark horse I want to throw into that race. Doug Flutie, in terms of playing, every time I saw Doug Flutie play a sport, basketball,
it don't matter.
Football,
thank you,
ping pong.
That's where I'm at.
Doug Flutie was the greatest at everything I saw. But this conversation and question, is Tom Brady the greatest athlete of all time? Yes, according to Marcellus Wiley. But Acho had a different reality, a different universe question. Is Tom Brady the best pure athlete of all time? Which wasn't the question, but Acho, you're right. In your own head. Coming up at the top of the hour, one athlete can relate to Tom Brady's success, LeBron James. We'll tell you which all-time great has had the more impressive career. But first, Aaron Rodgers said there are a lot of unknowns this offseason. We'll tell you if he was taking a shot at the Packers. Next, speak for yourself. We didn't even say LeBron's name once. Hey, speak for yourself, listeners. I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. So download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Aaron Rodgers fell short Sunday on his attempt to get back to his first Super Bowl since 2010, but Rodgers is the MVP frontrunner. He was vague post-game about his future in Green Bay after the tough loss to the Bucs. Y'all take a listen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unknowns going into this offseason now, and I'm going to have to take some time away for sure and clear my head and just kind of see what's going on with everything. But it's pretty tough right now.
Future Hall of Famer and former Browns offensive tackle Joe Thomas broke down Rodgers' comments with this tweet. Relax, Packers fans. Aaron Rodgers knows the Packers aren't stupid enough to move on from the best player in the NFL who's shown no sign of decline and is under contract. This is him just taking a little shot at the GM who drafted a QB in the first round last year. So, Marcellus, let's dissect this one a little bit further.
Yeah.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers was taking a shot at the Packers?
Absolutely. Joe Thomas nailed this one in terms of, he was taking a shot at the Packers. What's the alternative? We saw a gun. Heard a loud boom, and I was like, y'all want to know who he's aiming at? It wasn't a self-inflicted wound. It was at the Packers organization. Aaron Rodgers is guilty of what we're all guilty of, that misery loves company. So when you're on the down and out, when you're at the bottom, or you just feeling the low point in your life, you don't necessarily go out there and seek a helping hand as much as you're looking for some ankles to grab. And guess what? Aaron Rodgers was like, nah, I don't need all y'all telling me how good, or Acho telling me I'm the best athlete or how great I am. Nah, it's time to bring somebody down here with me and feel some of this pain. And this Packers organization is going to feel some of this pain right now because him taking the jab at the front office highlights exactly what everybody was knowing, but not necessarily thinking in the moment. I don't have the proper amount of support and help. Think about it. The Packers haven't used a first-round pick to draft an offensive skill position player since drafting Rodgers in 2005.
Talk about it.
Yay! Throughout his career, Rodgers has thrown a touchdown pass to just one player that was drafted in the first round. My former teammate, Mercedes Lewis. And he's a tight end that's known more for blocking now than he is for pass catching, even though he can do both. Huh? So what the hell is going on? Aaron Rodgers looks at this game and he's torn because he's like, I had a great game personally. I balled out, being real. And we took another L. Now, before, over time, over history, it's been the defensive issues and giving up 36 points a game in all my postseason losses. Well, they didn't do that this game necessarily by the points, but still, they let me down a little bit. And more importantly, those around me. I had a top 5 receiver this year. He let me down some. I had a top 5 running back. He really let me down. And he fumbled the ball 2 times. The point is, Aaron Rodgers was looking for ankles to grab, bruh. And the organization is not exempt, not absolved from that as well.
Big dog, I'm going to deviate from my notes because you know this. I'm not a robot. When you come up here and talk, I react and respond.
My dog.
I remember watching something one time, and it was like, I'm not saying it's you, but let the finger of truth fall where it may.
Ooh.
Right?
Still
So I think Aaron Rodgers, he wasn't taking a shot at the Packers management. He was just shooting. Now, if my shot happened to hit you, then it hit you. Think about it, big dog. He didn't tell a lie.
No.
Let me tell y'all something that y'all may not realize. Aaron Rodgers said so many people's futures are up in the air. Now, we heard this and we were like, Aaron Jones is an impending free agent.
Yep.
Yeah, there are a couple defensive linemen who are impending free agents. He wasn't talking about them. What if he was talking about himself? 30 quarterbacks, Marcellus, have been drafted in the first round in the 2010s. 30 quarterbacks drafted in the first round of the 2010s. All started games their rookie season except one, Jake Locker. He started the next season. So 30 quarterbacks, big dog, drafted in the first round in the 2010s, All them but one became starters their rookie season. The one who didn't start their rookie season started the next season. 15 quarterbacks were traded up since the 2010s to be taken in the first round. All of them started their rookie seasons. Jordan Love was traded up for, taken in the first round. So Aaron Rodgers, maybe he wasn't talking about Aaron Jones. Maybe he wasn't talking about other impending free agents on the defense. Maybe he was sitting around and saying, look, if I do the math, 29 out of 30, that's about 97%. So everybody else who's been taken in the first round, they start. Jordan Love was taken in the first round. What y'all gonna do, sit him on the bench? That's what y'all gonna do? So I think Aaron Rodgers, while he was saying the truth, it might have happened to inflict wound on Packers management, but I don't know, Sel, if it was a direct shot. I think it was just a direct truth.
You got me somewhere else. Okay, the issue with using those stats are typically when you have someone on Aaron Rodgers' level, you don't even draft in the first round at that position, right?
That's good.
But let's talk about Jimmy G, who wasn't even drafted in the first round, but still caused this type of turmoil, even though it was behind the scenes. It started to bleed over to the point where we took notice of it, in part the rift that started the divorce for Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. And then you come to this situation, and by all accounts, and I haven't seen Jordan Love play in practice. No one's seen him play in a game, but practice. All accounts is he's sorry. Like how we talk. I'm sorry, I'm a professional. I'm supposed to say he has a lot to work on. No, he's sorry. I heard he's sorry. Like real dogs, real boys I trust are like, he ain't got it, bro. And then you start to go into his history and you start to look at him in college when he's third team all conference and you're drafted in the first round. And you didn't go, this ain't an SEC player. This is not, a Pac-12 player. So Aaron Rodgers is sitting there like, not only did you draft in my position, you might not have drafted the right guy. And even if he's the right guy at my position, he can't help us right now. But you expect me to not only swim, but tug this big-ass boat of all these guys that are good to great, but they need me to be their general. How can I lead when you didn't give me more ammunition? That's not how you win the battle. So in this situation, I think Aaron Rodgers was directly shooting upstairs. I like how you said it, though. I call it the general specific. Like, the hit dog hollers. Like, brrr, and then somebody's like, ow. You're like, that's who deserved it.
That's him.
And I think right now this organization understands we're going to get divorced. And maybe this offseason and their separation and distance in this offseason, they'll carry out that divorce. I highly doubt that you'll do that. But still, there is the same poison pill in this water in Green Bay that was in New England after they drafted Jimmy G, despite the success that they had.
Let's say this, big dog.
Yeah.
You and I talk about social media. After every show, sometimes I get on social. Honestly, sometimes during commercial breaks, I'll be like, let me gauge the audience.
Just lose all the sometimes, just say all the time.
Nah, sometimes I take selfies, okay? Sometimes your boy just be taking selfies. I'll be checking to gauge the temperature of what y'all are saying. Y'all watching the show, y'all tweeting at Marcellus, y'all tweeting at me. I want to see what y'all are saying. We oftentimes, not rarely, get hurled insults. But Marcellus, I don't pay attention to the insults that aren't true because they don't hit home.
Yes.
But when somebody says something like, Acho, why you always yelling? I'm like, oh, man, I probably was yelling that much. Because that insult has some truth to it.
Yes.
I think Aaron Rodgers just be talking. He just be talking. He just be speaking his truth. If you get offended by it, then guess what? He was talking to you. Beginning of the season, what Aaron Rodgers say? My down years are some people's best years. He's not talking about Tom Brady. He's not talking about Peyton Manning. He's not talking about Drew Brees. But then when I pulled up the notes and I started to look at, man, the year Dak Prescott got an MVP vote, 23 passing touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Last year, Aaron Rodgers down year. 25 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Maybe he was talking to him. Because if the truth impacts you, maybe he's talking to you. So when I think about this, at the end of the game, Aaron Rodgers was like, yo, I balled. 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, 300-plus yards. I clearly outplayed the greatest quarterback of all time, to Marcellus, the greatest athlete of all time, Tom Brady. On 4th down, my coach didn't even let me go for it. My defense, you gave up a brainless touchdown before the half, and I'm sitting here with the first-round pick behind me who y'all drafted. I don't know if my future's certain. What I know about my future four, the only thing certain in the NFL is uncertainty. Rodgers just talking. If you got offended by it, yeah, he was talking to you.
Oh, but they should be offended because only Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins had a top 5 running back and top 5 receiver this year. So think about it. You know me. Every time I get into any situation, argument, anything that is of contrast, we're on different sides. My first mind is not to go where I am and bunker down. It's to see where you coming from.
Yes, sir.
Even in negotiations, when I play, I was like, what they going to come at me with? I got to know which vest to wear, what level of vest to wear, because I don't know what you're going to shoot me with. But in this situation, if I'm the Packers, I'm like, you're only one of 2. So you had weapons. Despite our draft miscues and omissions, you had what you needed. Nobody told you to throw that interception that led to that touchdown, Aaron Rodgers, even though it was only one.
You think the Packers would say to Rodgers, you had what you needed?
No, they won't say it. They'll show it. And that's what they've been showing. Therefore, they got Jordan. Dude, I don't care what people tell me. I care what they show me. You know why? Because that's going to be everlasting. That is something I can stand on. Your words, they can flow, they can flee. But when you show me, when you can't say you love me and you draft Jordan Love.
Yeah,
you can't.
That's real.
I don't want to hear it. Look, we don't even have to talk because I don't need the fluff. No Hallmark cards, homeboy. But there's nothing worse, and this is what's irritating Aaron Rodgers and the organization. This is where they're guilty. They're partners, and they're pulling in different directions. Imagine that. You and I, what was it, kayaking? Them 5 in the morning dudes at college that was getting up. You're like, damn, where you going? Practice? 5 in the morning on the Hudson River? Good luck to you. And we're going in the same direction. It rolls. But imagine I'm going this way and you doing this. And that's what the Packers are. As much as they're the 3rd or 4th best team in the NFL the last 2, that has to hurt.
I think that does, and I think also, you're right, there's a disconnect. Because I think the Packers are looking at Aaron Rodgers like, hey, you got all you need, big dog. And Aaron Rodgers is looking at them like, what the heck you mean I got all I need? Look at the teams in the Super Bowl this year. One team has Mike Evans, Gronkowski, Godwin, Antonio Brown, Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette. The other team has Mecole Hardman, Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. Look at the Super Bowl teams last year. One team was the Chiefs again. The other team had a plethora of talent, 3 500-yard rushers, 2 700-plus-yard receivers. The Packers looking at it one way, Aaron Rodgers looking at it another. I'm not convinced he's taking a shot. But Packers management, if y'all were offended, yeah, he was talking to you.
Boom.
Coming up, Lamar Jackson can get paid this offseason, but I'll tell you why the Ravens should be concerned, Marcellus,
boy. You better
about
chill.
that long-term deal. Just a couple concerns.
Don't
That's
take it,
next.
man.
Speak for yourself.
That man, his money, man.
Hey, Speak for Yourself listeners. It's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People's Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we could all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you. Now, back to Speak for Yourself.
Saturday, Caleb Plant, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in boxing, puts his perfect record and super middleweight title on the line against Caleb Truax. Saturday, 8 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Take this, Acho. Whoosh. Welcome back. The Ravens season was ended by the Bills in the divisional round, and Lamar Jackson had to leave with a concussion. The reigning MVP finished this year as the only quarterback to rush for 1,000 yards in multiple seasons. Wow. But his Ravens also finished last in passing attempts and passing yards. Lamar is eligible for a contract extension, and Ravens GM Eric DeCosta says the team's intentions is to, quote, keep him in Baltimore for many, many years. So, Acho, should the Ravens have concern about committing long-term to Lamar, my favorite quarterback that's playing right now?
Everyone watching, Marcellus, woosah.
Don't do
because
that.
I'm going to say some truths that may concern you and that may hurt your feelings. Yes, there should be concerns about committing to Lamar long term. Not because Lamar Jackson is not one of the most electrifying players in the National Football League. Not because Lamar Jackson is not one of the best passers outside the pocket a year ago. Not because Lamar Jackson is not the most prolific runner we've ever seen at the quarterback position. But the concerns should come because of the question, can you win with Lamar's style of play? Everybody lately I've seen compared to Lamar to Giannis, but you know me, I don't like to be lazy. I think about Lamar Jackson as I think about Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook will sell a ton of tickets. Russell Westbrook will be one of the most electrifying players year in and year out. Russell Westbrook will do things the game of basketball has never seen before. 3 consecutive seasons, averaging a triple-double over the course of the season. Russell Westbrook won an MVP. But is Russell Westbrook's style of play too limited to win a championship? That's the question. Lamar Jackson, a unanimous MVP. Do not take that away from him. I won't. But is Lamar Jackson's style of play too limited to win a championship? Marcellus, I got to look at you for this one. Because I came up finally. Every now and then, a stat is just a number, but sometimes a stat is a conversation. Sometimes a stat means everything. Big dog, I deduced this one with the help of the team. Mind blown. Marcellus, Lamar Jackson isn't a running quarterback. I'm not going to say that. But we've never seen, no, like I said, he's not a running quarterback. But we've never seen a quarterback who's a better runner than passer win a Super Bowl. Now, people bring up the likes of Steve Young. People bring up the likes of Russell Wilson. People bring up the likes of Aaron Rodgers. But let me give you the math to support the point.
Okay.
Russell Wilson, the year he won the Super Bowl, he ran the ball 6 times. He passed the ball 6 yards for every 1 rush. Steve Young, the year he won the Super Bowl, he passed the ball 13 yards for every 1 rushing yard. Aaron Rodgers, the year he won the Super Bowl, passed the ball 11 yards for every 1 rushing yard. Lamar Jackson, over his first 2 years, Marcellus, averages 2.4 passing yards for every 1 rushing yard. So we've never seen a quarterback win a Super Bowl who passes the ball for less than 6 yards per every rushing yard. So it's not a matter of my like and dislike for Lamar. It's not a matter of stereotyping that type of quarterback. It's not a matter of anything besides we've literally, in the modern football era, never seen a quarterback that plays the game like Lamar Jackson plays the game win a Super Bowl. So if you have concerns for winning Super Bowls, then you have to have concern about committing long term.
No concerns.
Oh, come on.
Just a concern with what I just heard from my co-host in terms of your take about Lamar Jackson, but no concern by the way he performs. Let me push back before I start to go my own direction.
Please push.
My pushback is when anyone uses in historical context the running quarterback.
Yes, sir.
You always have to start with the understanding that there was a limited quantity to even start
Absolutely
from.
right.
And you want to see the drastic difference. And I played through the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s of football. I played football for 25 years. And I started when I was 7 years old, 6 years old in front of the house. And because of that limitation and that perception and that stigma, that there were guys that could play quarterback looking like us, that was switching positions, even had to leave the NFL. Warren Moon comes to mind. Just had to go elsewhere, exiled just to play the position. So when we get to the numbers that support passing quarterbacks and statues,
yes, sir,
always remember,
history.
You're only dealing with this many mobile quarterbacks.
That is true.
So no wonder not many have won a Super Bowl because you're only dealing with 7, it seems like, in history. Okay, now let me go in my direction. Boy, I love me some Lamar Jackson, and boy, I hate this misperception about him that he can't throw the football. Trivia. Who led the league in passing touchdowns last year?
Lamar Jackson.
No, you say Aaron Rodgers. Who you say? Say it again.
Lamar Jackson.
Patrick Mahomes. No, come on. Say it.
You know the answer.
Oh! So check. I think I could throw the football. But this year, things regressed in some of the major statistical categories. We're right. Slightly. But here's some nuggets that should make you all understand that Lamar Jackson is not the issue in Baltimore. Quarterbacks with 25 touchdown passes and fewer than 10 interceptions each of the last 2 seasons. Tell me if they're good. Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson. Oh, you waiting for more names? That's it. Woo! let's talk about quarterbacks that win, since you say, well, they don't win or they can't win. Quarterback win percentage, minimum of 35 starts, so we want guys that qualify. Number 5, Joe Montana. Is he good? Number 4, Roger Staubach. Any good? Number 3, greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady. Number 2, Lamar Jackson, only trumped by slightly Patrick Mahomes. I could go nugget after nugget. The dude is in a situation where he doesn't have receivers. Hollywood, Marquise Brown, stop being Hollywood. Get to work. Like, you're good, you're not great, and you're certainly not good enough to make this group anything. How bad was the New England Patriots passing game this year? Dog, you had jokes on Cam Newton this year, and it hurt you to have those jokes.
I did.
And it hurt you to see him suffer. But you look at that situation, you think they were the worst? No. The wide receivers in Baltimore combined for fewer than 2,000 combined yards. Next closest was the Patriots. So as trashed as the Patriots passing game was, it was the Baltimore Ravens that were the worst. And you want to know why? It wasn't by talent. It wasn't by arm strength. It wasn't by accuracy. It was by limitation in the scheme and the playbook. We got to bring in Fox NFL analyst LeVar Arrington. LeVar, should the Ravens have concern about committing to my favorite quarterback long-term, Mr. Lamar Jackson?
No, they shouldn't have any concerns, and the only reason being is because he's your favorite quarterback. And I think that kind of makes it a simple argument, a discussion, because, as long as he's your favorite quarterback, Marcellus, it makes the argument worthwhile to say that Lamar Jackson's going to be the long-term solution. But seriously,
how do you feel?
Well, when I look at Lamar Jackson, I look at a coach saver. I look at a franchise deliverer. They have not won the Super Bowl, but yet Lamar Jackson has ultimately delivered this franchise back to prominence and away from mediocrity.
There you go.
All right?
Yeah.
So to me, when I look at Lamar Jackson, sure, they've come up short. We can pinpoint him not having enough weapons. We can pinpoint him finishing last in passing yards. We can pinpoint a lot of different things and look at it and say, in a microscope form and fashion, you can find concerns, but you can find concerns with anyone. And when you look at Lamar Jackson, the one thing that I'll say that to me is definitively the reason why you give him the contract and you don't look back on it, you don't second guess it, you believe it and you buy into it, is because of what I just said. You believe it and you buy into it. Lamar Jackson is a player that Baltimore, the players, the city, the coaches, the guy that had the shirt on, nobody cares, do better, right? They believe and they buy into Lamar Jackson. And sometimes you can put a price tag on the criticisms of what he may or may not do in the statistical categories, but some of those intangibles that you can't measure will be the very reasons why you got to pay him and make sure he's comfortable and confident in his role as the quarterback in the franchise of that team.
I'm not saying, fellas, you don't pay him. Let's get this unequivocally and explicitly. Pay the man. Pay the man.
Top dollar?
Pay him because he's earned it. But there's a difference between earning the money and rewarding the team for the money you're paid. See, he's earned the money. Get a man a check. He earned the money. But the issue and the question is, should you have concerns about doing it? I think you have to pay the man, but you should have concerns about doing it. If I'm not mistaken, let's go back again. I told you all about Russell Westbrook. He was the highest paid player in the NBA, at least for a season, if I'm not mistaken, because he filled up the seats in OKC. He was that highest paid dude. Let's also talk about the fact, because I brought up the parallel, I'm going to ride it home. Marcellus, you brought up Lamar Jackson, 35 passing touchdowns. He was very proficient and prolific as a passer last year. The question I have is, will he regress back to the mean? Russell Westbrook, shot 34% from 3 the year he won MVP. But will he regress back to the mean? Pay Lamar Jackson, but when you're talking about concerns, if and when you do pay Lamar Jackson, which the Baltimore Ravens should, can you win it all with Lamar Jackson? That's the question. That's the concern. I'm going to go here, Marcellus and LeVar, if we may.
I knew it was coming. Go here. Here come the drums.
If how someone sees you impacts how they use you, then that still will impact you.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay?
That's right.
If how someone sees Lamar Jackson, so Marcellus, you bring up the fact of the Baltimore Ravens, they don't pass for a lot of yards. That's true, and that's correct. But that's probably because the Ravens don't or didn't see Lamar Jackson as a passer. So they don't necessarily use him as a passer, which is why the Ravens, for the last 3 years, lead the NFL in rushing, but are porous in passing statistics. How the Ravens see Lamar Jackson impacts how they use Lamar Jackson. So therefore, that will impact the success Lamar Jackson has. If Lamar Jackson's success is negatively influenced, then I have my concerns about committing to him. Not saying you shouldn't. I'm definitely not saying it's Lamar Jackson's fault, because it's not Lamar Jackson's fault that Greg Roman doesn't necessarily see him as a prolific passer. But if they're not going to use him as a prolific passer and thus they're not going to win, then you got to have concern.
Yeah, you know what? Kurt Warner talked about that, and he was pretty prophetic about it in terms of he was explaining his experience and was warning all other quarterbacks out there to not get caught up in that perception roller coaster. Because you remember Kurt Warner, MVP, St. Louis Rams, greatest show on turf. But a lot of people forget or have amnesia about the New York Giants and how they looked at him, and then they had to draft Eli Manning, and then all of a sudden, Kurt Warner back in Arizona and riding that roller coaster back to that success level that he earned. And it's interesting that Lamar Jackson seems, at least in perception, to be on a smaller coaster than that, you know, in the little kiddie world over there, but still on a roller coaster in terms of how they're perceiving him. And I think it's very unfortunate. Aaron Rodgers comes to mind when I think about Lamar Jackson. As Lamar Jackson, who won't say this publicly, but I will say it for you, in my worst years is still some other quarterbacks' career years. Lamar Jackson this year in regression had 33 total touchdowns. Baker Mayfield is being lauded right now, certainly by my co-host and others, for having 27 total touchdowns. And he's had that twice, but that's been his ceiling. And Lamar Jackson won't say this, but man, we need to know reality versus perception. The worst of Lamar Jackson in terms of impact, in terms of the scoreboard, in terms of effect, is still greater than some other quarterbacks that right now we're trying to celebrate. Lamar Jackson
90%.
has always improved. Be real. If you look at Lamar Jackson from his collegiate years, every single year you saw him improve in terms of completion percentage, passing yards, and just basically staying the same in yards attempt, touchdowns, etc. Winning the Heisman and then coming back and having Heisman numbers again, but the team lost more games. Therefore, he didn't get the Heisman in consecutive years. All that. Look, Eric DaCosta, I love you, big dog, and you said the right things. Lamar Jackson will get to work, and he will improve. But, hey, Eric, why don't you draft a receiver that works as well? Help your boy out a little bit. Coming up, LeBron James is used to getting to the finals just like Tom Brady. We'll tell you whose career has been more impressive next. Speak for yourself. Why don't you speak for yourself? Marcellus Wally, married man, Emmanuel Acho, still single. Figure it out, big dog. Let's get back to Tom Brady and the Bucs. We're headed to their first Super Bowl since 2002, and Tom Brady is a big reason why. The GOAT has now reached 10 Super Bowls in his 21-year career. Unreal. Meanwhile, LeBron James scored a season-high 46 points last night and won his fourth ring a few months ago. LeBron and Brady are now the only athletes in the last 30 years to play in 10 championships. So, Acho, who has had the more impressive career, the king or the GOAT?
I love this topic because I love delineating between greats. It's LeBron James. LeBron James has by far and away had the most impressive career. Now, like you, Marcellus, I try to figure out what is my opponent's strategy of their argument before I state my own.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and defeat the other side of the argument.
Me?
See, the only other side of the argument is that Tom Brady plays a sport with more players. Therefore, it's harder to influence winning because there are 22 players offensively, defensively, and totality on the court. That's the only thing. Go ahead.
Okay.
Get rid of that.
All right, keep going. What else you got? I got 2 left. Don't you dare say more about my notes.
That's it. That's the argument for Tom Brady. Now, what's the argument for LeBron James? LeBron James has been great on different teams in different cities, but more importantly, with different coaches, several of them. Okay, what's LeBron James do? The first thing he does is he takes a no-name coach, former video editor in Eric Spoelstra, to the NBA Finals. Eric Spoelstra had lost in the first round 2 prior years. LeBron James, NBA Finals.
Hold on. Oh, sorry. There's a lot of stuff in this room.
LeBron James. That's the first thing he did. Now, what's LeBron James do after that? LeBron James now goes and takes David Blatt, who was in coaching in Europe for 20 years prior, and he says, you know what? I'm going to take you to the finals. Then what's LeBron James do? He takes a coach who's most known for getting stepped over in the NBA Finals, Ty Lue, to the NBA Finals, and wins a chip with him in his first year. Then what's LeBron do? He flies across the country, flies across the coast to LA, and takes another video editor, Frank Vogel, in his first year to the NBA Finals. There is nothing an athlete has done in the history of sports over the course of a career that is more impressive than what LeBron James has done with his career. LeBron James could take myself to the NBA Finals as a coach. LeBron James could take Marcellus Wiley to the NBA Finals as a coach. LeBron James could take Gabe, our video editor, for SFY to the NBA Finals as a coach. If LeBron James can take all these people to the finals as a coach, LeBron James has had the most impressive career, more impressive than Tom Brady.
Oh, my goodness. So you want to go there?
We there already. I'm waiting for
there?
you.
Well, obviously, I'm going with Tom Brady. And let me just start off like this is not even a level conversation, because when you talk about basketball players versus football players, it's impossible, even for me, to remove the bias that we all have towards basketball players. Don't think there's a bias? Did we go to high school? Yeah. Do you remember those dudes walking into class? 6'9" bean poles walking in class, and you try to holler at the same person they try to holler at, you ain't got a chance in hell. Because basketball players, they live a different world.
I went to an all-boys school.
Oh, you did? Damn. I know. Well, no hollering there? Not progressive? Okay. Anyway, so the point is, you ever been in an environment where there are basketball players and football players? The club. You ever been in a club with a basketball player? Hey! No, I play football. Oh, okay, move. Who's that dude off the bench in the NBA I need to see? This is a whole different reality. Look, they live in tank tops and shorts, and they go to the free throw line. Did someone touch you? Oh, no. Everybody, get away. You stand over here. You stand over here. Okay. You get 2 free throws. Let me talk about this sport I played, football. Ain't nothing free. You pay for everything. Mr. T said it best. It's one word to describe football. Pain. And you know what? LeBron James answered this for me, for you, but of course I just wanted to come out here and be the wordsmith.
What'd he say?
LeBron James, through his actions, said, I'm an all-state football player. I'm an all-world basketball player. Like water, I will choose the path of least resistance. And LeBron James said, forget that football, let me play basketball. But let me make a stronger argument why. It's really simple. Tom Brady's just greater. He's accomplished more. LeBron James didn't win his first NBA title until his 9th season. 9th season? You imagine Tom Brady had to wait 9 years to get his title? Oh, he didn't even wait 1 year. First year starting, Tom Brady said, let me get that. And then he got 3 out of 4. And everybody's like, oh, it's been a little bit of a drought. He had a little perfect year. Little bit of a drought. Lost in the Super Bowl. Little bit of a drought. Let's draft behind you, Jimmy G. Oh, let me just go 3 more times and win 2 more times. Look, LeBron James has 4 titles. Amazing. That's 5 more than I got. I mean, real. I know the math. Here's the thing. Tom Brady is like 4. What are we talking about? What's your win percentage in those moments of truth? Not the same. What is your appearances? The same. What's going on? I thought you could take a video director, and I thought you could take a European coach, and I thought you could take anybody who got stepped over. Oh, but when it matters most, Tom Brady is still the greatest.
Big dog, let's talk macro, let's talk micro. Okay. Let's zoom the camera in, if we shall, on their individual careers. Now, Tom Brady, he got 14 Pro Bowls. LeBron James, he got 16 All-Stars. Now, Tom Brady, he got 5 All-Pros. That's cute. LeBron James, he has 16 All-NBAs. Now, Tom Brady, he does have 3 MVPs. LeBron James has 4. Tom Brady, though, has 4 Super Bowl MVPs, and LeBron James only has 4 Finals MVPs. So at least Tom Brady's level there. If you want to talk about the fact that Tom Brady has played on better teams, we can also talk about that. Because remember, Marcellus, what happened the year that Tom Brady got hurt? He missed that season. I think it was a torn ACL.
11-5.
11-5, right? 11-5. That's still pretty good.
No Super Bowl.
What? No. They didn't make the playoffs.
Exactly. I know that.
But they still went 11-5. Marcellus, what happens whenever LeBron James leaves somewhere?
When he leaves somewhere?
Or when he's just not healthy? Because the Lakers, with LeBron James hurt, What happened with them? And then the Lakers, when LeBron James came back, that's a whole chip, sir. What happens when LeBron James isn't present or when he leaves? That same success is minimized at a greger rate.
Oh,
Tom Brady
we're not doing that, are we?
I'm just saying.
No.
I'm just saying.
No.
Tom Brady left with the same roster, 11-5. 11-5, sir.
You trying to give me an argument, really, that is based off of when LeBron is not there, the minus argument. What about when LeBron is there? What about when Tom Brady is there? Go
where you need to go.
Yeah, I'm there. Tom Brady already took me there. Tom Brady said, dog, I am the reason. I'm the common denominator between one dynasty, two dynasties, and potentially a third if I get this thing rolling in Tampa Bay. Don't forget, the Tampa Bay was horrible before Tom Brady got there. The most losses in NFL history.
Okay.
The most losses in all sports franchises
That's
history.
fair.
More than my Clippers. And y'all love to talk bad about my Clippers. Talk worse about the Buccaneers and how he changed that culture. Here's the thing. Brady has, good Lord, is LeBron 40 yet? No, so it's a little premature to have this argument, right? I know how old LeBron James is, but Tom Brady has reached the Super Bowl for the third time after turning 40. So Tom Brady's already sunned him in his 20s, sunned him in his 30s, and he's like, and in case you want to do this when you're in your 40s, you still got to keep
teens, though, huh?
Huh?
You ain't mentioned teens, did you? You talked about 20s, you talked about 30s, you talked about 40s.
LeBron was in the league in the teens. His team wasn't going anywhere, but he was beasting out of control. This is not a shot at LeBron James.
Of course.
This is just to show Tom Brady got him by this
Let me ask you something. I'm going to ask you a question that seems arbitrary, but I have a point with it. The Bills, when they went to 4 straight Super Bowls, would you have called them a dynasty?
I wanted to, but I kept getting pushed back, so I can't.
But you wanted to.
I wanted
Like, you
to.
could make an argument that going to 4 straight.
Because you put your team in position always to win it all. Mm-hmm. That's why I love Peyton Manning more than even Tom Brady. I don't think he's greater, but I think he's better because he always put his team in that position. But Tom Brady's like, I have to.
Fair.
Yeah.
Now, if you said that the Bills, because I would agree with you, going to 4 straight Super Bowls, I would say that's pretty dynastic.
Right.
If you were going to say that, then I think we also have to say that LeBron James has been on 2 and counting dynasties then. Because LeBron James in Miami, what happened? 4 straight. Then LeBron James goes to Cleveland. What happens? Another, 4 straight. Now LeBron James is in L.A. 3 straight in Cleveland.
3 straight, 1-1.
All right, and now LeBron James is in L.A.
Percentages. You win half, you win one.
But that's why I asked you the question before I let you know where I was going.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to know where I was going. You might have changed your answer.
Okay.
If the Bills going to 4 straight is a dynasty, which I'm not going to argue, because I think if you go to 4 straight Super Bowls, hey, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
If that's a dynasty, then you have to say LeBron James going to his 4 in Miami, check, dynasty.
Yeah.
LeBron James going back to Cleveland, going to his 3. I thought it was, going back to his 4. That's the dynasty. Now, LeBron James in LA just won 1, currently has one of the best records in the West. You have to say he's on 2 dynasties and counting, which would still be greater than Tom Brady.
Yeah, but do you want $1 or do you want 100 pennies? Like, I mean, come on, man. I used to grow up like that, but penny rolls go up to the bank or you go to the liquor store, you're like, all right, how much is this, damn it? I got to add up LeBron too much. Like, oh, you got 1 over here, you lost over there, you went over here, you had this coach over here. Tom Brady like, dog, I ain't got to do all this chasing for my greatness. I hate the chasing of it. Even though I'm not mad at it because the power's with the players, not the general manager. I just don't think it's the same as Tom Brady, who sat still for 20 and said, give me 6. And then in the first year, LeBron James, when he went to the Cavs, it took him 4 years to even get to the finals and lose. Tom Brady in his first year went to the Super Bowl and won. This was a dead conversation from hello. Coming up, Josh Allen took a huge step this season, but we'll tell you if he has anything else to prove next. Speak for yourself.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Josh Allen had nearly 400 total yards in his first AFC Championship game Sunday, but his Bills, they couldn't get past those red-hot Chiefs. Allen became a top MVP candidate in his 3rd season, finishing top 5 in passing yards, touchdowns, and total yards. Yesterday, Allen was asked what he proved this year with his overall performance. Y'all take a listen.
I proved, that they didn't make a mistake by drafting me going back a few years ago, and I got to continue to go out there and have that same mindset. And I'm just trying to help this team win with whatever and whichever way that I can.
So, Marcellus, let's talk about your Bills, big dog. Now that you've gotten over the mourning period of their loss, my condolences. Has Josh Allen removed all doubt?
All doubt is all gone. No doubt. You and me, we used to be together.
It's your second day singing.
Dog, I'm trying to get there. I'm clearing this up
Can you do it off the show?
No, don't speak if you're going to slander Josh. Boy, I love this dude. Woo! Y'all talking about 2.0. The future is here. Dog, everybody's trying to find the next quarterback that is big, that is mobile, and can have an arm like a cannon. And Josh Allen, he embodies all of that. Being real, dog, he's all about family and football. And boy, this dude is the next. And he's here now to stay. You can see his drastic improvement. And that's what you really got to bank on, not just the highs. Because you make a great point when you talk about some quarterbacks. Are they going to regress? Are they going to go back to their average? Are they going to regress to a mean? Not Josh Allen, dog. Worst completion percentage his rookie year in the NFL. Second year, he had the second worst completion percentage in the NFL. But it improved by 6 percentage points. And then this year, it improved by 10+ percentage points. Now, if you look at it, he's setting single-season Buffalo Bills quarterback records. I remind you, there was a guy who retired the year I was drafted by the name of Jim Kelly that played in Buffalo. So anytime you break records in Buffalo at the quarterback position, oh, you're doing something special. So if you want more from Josh Allen than what you've seen already, you're just greedy. And it's okay. There's a therapist for that person out there.
Phil.
You're just greedy because the guy has showed me everything. He's committed to the game, and the game is returning the favor by being good to him.
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? Will the real Josh Allen please stand up? Because that's the questions I have, big dog Marcellus Wiley. And to answer them, I got to go to the big board. Because I've been confused. I've been perplexed. Marcellus, you know this. Josh Allen, I don't know who he is. I can't figure it out. Because when I look at the NFL quarterbacks this year that are top passer ratings, the most games with the passer rating over 120, I see some familiar names. Aaron Rodgers, he's a beast. Patrick Mahomes, he's a beast. But who else is on that list? Let's figure that out real quick. Who else could be on that list? Oh, Josh Allen is one of the quarterbacks with 7 games over 120 passer rating. That's pretty incredible. But again, I said, may I have your attention, please? Will the real Josh Allen please stand up? Because when I look at the other side of that list, the quarterbacks with games, the most games below 90, we got Carson Wentz, Marcellus. I know you hate Carson Wentz. We got Daniel Jones. He was pretty bad this year. We got Drew Lock. We got Sam Darnold. He struggled. We got Cam Newton. I don't know what happened with Baker Mayfield, why he on that list. It must have been a typo. But who else is on that list? Who else could be on that?
Hey.
Josh Allen? So wait, Marcellus.
What?
Josh Allen both has some of the most games above 120 with Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. But on the flip side, Josh Allen is chilling with Carson Wentz and Daniel Jones. Marcellus, you told me this one time. You said if you go into the club, who you want to walk into the club with, Sal. And right now, Josh Allen walking in with Carson Wentz, with Daniel Jones, with Drew, with Sam, with Cam Newton, that's not a good list. I am not completely convinced in Josh Allen just yet, because I don't know which Josh Allen standing up, big dog.
Oh, man, I know where Josh Allen is. Where your socks are. Where your socks at, big dog? Josh Allen and his socks. I chose socks. All right, look, I'm not going to let you go up there and talk about my man who going through growing pains.
Oh, God.
You want to highlight the lows. You're the guy my senior year of not only high school and college. I know you, Acho. I didn't know I'd known you for so long. You're that guy, Marcellus. Hey, dog, you going to those big schools recruiting you? Nah, I'm going to Columbia. Columbia? Oh, man, guess what? You ain't going to make it to the league from Columbia. That's the sorriest football team in the country. Oops. Okay, now I'm leaving Columbia, and I'm a senior. People are like, are you going to go to the NFL? Yeah, if they want me. What you mean? I mean, it's a one-way question. You have to ask them. I want to go. Are they going to draft me? I don't know. From Columbia, from here? Nobody going to draft you from here. When the last time they drafted a player from here? Oops. Excuse you, Acho, once again. Now, you are just like them.
How?
You want to look at a situation and just judge it from your fears. Judge it from the lowest points. Judge it from, it just doesn't look conventional. Josh Allen has been inconsistent, but it's been an inconsistent ride up like the stock market. You ever look at the stock market? Your broker always says, just ride the wave.
In for the long haul.
Hell yeah. I'm like, yeah, you say that with my money? But it's a short haul for your money, huh? The point is, long haul, short haul, Josh Allen's here to stay, big dog. I got a nugget for you. Third player in the Super Bowl era to go out like he did in that AFC Championship loss. Steve Young, Lamar Jackson, all lost the same type of game. When you go out there, have 275 more passing yards and 75 rushing yards. Josh Allen is just a monster. He's not a monster. He's a robot. And I'm going to give you why he's a robot. Because there's only one thing I would have listened to that I wouldn't have called blasphemy about Josh Allen. That if you wet him in the third or fourth quarter, he may spaz a little bit, just a little, because he's going through that maturation process right before our very eyes. But talk about most improved player. How about consecutive years most improved player in the NFL? 10 touchdowns, 20 touchdowns, 37 touchdowns, just passing alone. The improvement is just too drastic to sit there and now harp on the lowlights.
I'm not necessarily harping on the lows because remember, what did I show you first? I showed you them highs.
You're right.
I showed you them highs.
I'm sorry.
Then I showed you them lows.
Hey, all these songs gonna get us in trouble. We can't go ludicrous. That's not on the show.
Then I showed you the lows. Anyway,
we ain't gonna get paid for them 5 seconds.
The point is this. Josh Allen's season this past year was a microcosm of his career. And I just don't know, where's he going to land, Marcellus? 10 touchdowns year 1. 20 touchdowns year 2.
Yeah, you sound like me.
Touchdowns year 3.
We agree.
Is he going to regress back to the 20s? Is he going to regress back to the teens? Is he going to shoot up to the 40s? But when you ask me, has he removed all doubt? Yeah, and that, to remove all doubt, I got to see consistency. Patrick Mahomes has removed all doubt. Because Patrick Mahomes has been consistent.
That's a whole different animal, man.
Sure. But I feel like you could even say Deshaun Watson. As far as his individual talent. His individual talent. He came into the league, MVP stats his first year. Here's his ACL, MVP stats this year.
And what you get for that?
His individual talent, Deshaun Watson has removed all doubt.
Your money's no good here, Deshaun Watson. You know why? Because you look, I see your pockets bulging, but when you pull it out, we ain't got nothing for that. We ain't got nothing but a 4-12 record out of that. All this money you got, you can't buy jack. He's like, Deshaun numbers don't translate. It's like currency. You're like, you going somewhere, what is that, a yen? What is going on? What is he trying to do? Josh Allen went from 5-6. Hold on. You trying to tell me Deshaun Watson with 4-12, and then this guy's 5-6 at his worst. Then he goes 10-6, and people are still looking at him like, yeah, but you can't throw, you're not accurate. Then he goes 13-3. Deshaun Watson not doing that. You're talking about playoff appearances?
I'm not talking about playoff appearances. What I'm talking about is we're talking about an individual right now. Had you asked me, have the Buffalo Bills removed all doubt? That's a different question. You said, has Josh Allen removed all doubt? Josh Allen is an individual entity, a part of a larger entity, the Buffalo Bills. He still has questions. He has to.
No.
Bro, his first year, 10 touchdowns, 12 picks.
That was a long time ago. We used it. Peyton Manning's rookie year. Suspect.
Second year, 20 touchdowns, 10 picks. Third year, 20 touchdowns, 9 picks. Third year, 37 touchdowns, 10 picks. I'm just simply saying we've still seen the inconsistencies. You ain't hear me go up there and say Baker Mayfield's removed all doubt. If you ask me, is Josh Allen a franchise quarterback? Duh. Josh Allen worth a draft pick? Yes, more than likely. But has Josh Allen removed all doubt? Big dog, let's go here.
Oh, no. You ain't gonna just hog up all the laps. Let me get some of these ribs.
Fine.
You save me some ribs. 45 total touchdowns. 10 interceptions. Has Deshaun Watson ever done that? I'm looking. Wait a minute, Deshaun. Have you ever touched the ceiling? And you know, like when we do the vertical jump test, and that top bar, I think it's white. And some of you like, damn, he knocked all the bars out. Has Deshaun Watson ever leaped to the same level? Has Deshaun Watson ever had a 13-3 record? No. Has he ever had 45 total touchdowns? No. Tell me what Deshaun Watson doing better than my boy Josh Allen. If you had to start a franchise, who you starting with?
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson is a beast. Josh Allen's something different.
Let's do this.
Come on, man. You know
Carson Wentz. He never removed all doubt, and he went 13-3. He also was about to win an MVP prior to getting hurt.
But he didn't start all those games. But I'm with you.
Jared Goff. He didn't remove all doubt.
No,
he balled. He had 32 passing touchdowns, 12 picks, went to the Super Bowl.
None of them
Cam
exist.
Newton, I don't think he removed all doubt, even when he won an MVP of the league and went to the Super Bowl. Carson Wentz won a Super Bowl, although, yes, he was hurt in the playoffs. Cam Newton went to the Super Bowl MVP. Jared Goff put up an MVP campaign, went to the Super Bowl. None of those quarterbacks removed all doubt, and they probably had higher success than Josh Allen. So I don't know how you can look at Josh Allen and say, you know what, he's removed it all.
You know what? I'm not even going to argue because I understand where you're coming from. You're a harsher critic than I am in terms of when I see greatness. It's like when you go to a Pop Warner football game. I know you go to the little leagues. One of my favorite things in the world is to just go see 8-year-olds starting their quest, their journey. And one of the worst things about that experience is listening to their parents. Seriously, because they put so much pressure, so much energy into my baby. And I'm like, your baby is not going pro today, no matter how well he plays. But it's just fun to be in that atmosphere, in that environment. You know what's funny? Sometimes the parents come up to me and really want to ask me a question. I'm the wrong person to ask because as soon as the first quarter's over, sometimes a few plays, I'm like, number 2 and number 17 going to do something. Next level. I don't know what that's going to end like, but I know what it's going to be. That's something special. But number 2 and number 17's parents don't come up to me. Number 9's does. And I'm like, number 9 ain't got it, mama. Number 9 is going to be good. He's going to be on the team, but number 9 doesn't have it. You don't need long to look at Josh Allen. You don't need that much to look at what you saw this year and realize he's number 2 or he's number 17. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers said his future is uncertain. That was beautiful what I just did there. We'll tell you if the Packers will be crazy to trade the future Hall of Famer. Next, speak for yourself. What number is Deshaun, though? Welcome back. Aaron Rodgers threw for over 300 yards with 3 touchdown passes Sunday against the Bucs, but it was not enough for a trip to the Super Bowl. After the loss, Rodgers sparked trade rumors when he said, quote, there are a lot of unknowns going into this offseason now. However, today, Rodgers said, quote, I don't think there is any reason that I wouldn't be back, but there's not many absolutes in this business. So, Acho, would the Packers be crazy to trade Aaron Rodgers?
Absolutely, big dog. Marcellus, we used to let age define our primes. Quarterback's 31, he's in his prime. Right. Running back's 26, he's in his prime. A pass rusher's around 24, 25, they're in their prime. We used to let age define our primes, but now we got to let play define your prime.
Okay.
So the real question is, would the Packers be crazy to trade a top 5 quarterback in NFL history in the prime of his career? And the answer is absolutely yes. Let's remove the face, let's remove the name. Aaron Rodgers is a top 5 quarterback in NFL history, and he just had the best season of his career by far. 3 more touchdowns in the regular season than he's ever thrown. Higher touchdown percentage than he's ever had. Higher completion percentage by 2 percentage points than he's ever had. A top 5 quarterback having the best season of his career. He's in his prime. Why in the world would you trade a quarterback in his prime outside of pride and outside of ignorance? The Packers would be asinine to trade Aaron Rodgers. What they truly should do is this. Realize they made a mistake. It's hard for egotistical people. It's hard for egotistical athletes. And it's especially hard for egotistical men to admit they've made a mistake.
Yep.
And Packers management is comprised of egotistical men, because to a degree, that's what you need to succeed. Confidence and sometimes bordering an ego. Drafting Jordan Love while Aaron Rodgers was still in his prime was a mistake. Realize, hey, I'm not going to cry over the spilled milk. I'm not going to cry over the spoiled milk, whatever the saying is. Realize that and say, you know what I am going to do? I'm just going to go ahead and trade this in. If you're going to make a trade, Packers, trade Jordan Love. Aaron Rodgers still has 3 to 5 great years left.
Man, Acho, everything you said is absolutely correct, except you skipped a step.
What I skipped?
And you got fascinated with greatness, as we all do. And it's interesting, living in Los Angeles, I have a different perspective of fame than people who move to Los Angeles. People move to Los Angeles and think of Los Angeles as a certain way. So they usually, to some degree, follow the script of what they think Los Angeles is. But I'm a dude from here who saw people turn into superstars, but, that's just a story in the 8th grade, or we played on the same rec league. The point is, I'm not starstruck. And you just got starstruck talking about Aaron Rodgers. Let me tell you why.
Please.
Because you're saying, oh, no way, you're crazy if you get rid of Aaron Rodgers because of his greatness, because of his level of success,
yes, sir,
because of his fame, whatever. But everyone has a price, and everything has a price. Acho, it all depends on where he goes, and how much we could get in return for his services. Think about this. I'll give you some trades right now. Tell me if Aaron Rodgers could get King's ransom in comparison to this. RG3, your boy, did you play? Yeah, you play with RG3. Washington traded 3 first-round picks and a second-rounder. Oh, what about the Saints? Remember that Ricky Williams trade? All 7 of their picks, along with a first and third-round pick to get Ricky Williams. 2 great players that if you add them up, still not half of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has shown right now he's not in decline. He's in incline. And if you can get a team, let me go through your house since you said you don't know the difference between spilled milk and spoiled milk, what they're ever
I ain't drinking neither.
And neither, right. But if I walk through your house, you got a townhouse, I heard.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a few floors, multi-level. Yeah. Okay, you balling out of control. My dog. And I'm walking through your house, and I'm like, Acho, what's this? And you're like, put that down, Wally. That's something that's really close to my heart. I was like, I want to buy it. You're like, man, hell no. That's my daddy gave me this preacher's robe. And I'm like, look, I want the robe. You're like, nope, it's not for sale. I said, Acho, I give you $100,000 for that robe. You're like, my dad ain't gonna miss it. You're like, all right, no. Okay, so I walked out, look at that couch. I'm like, Acho, I love your couch, man. It fits me well as it fits you. I give you $50,000 for a $5,000 couch. Guess what you about to do? Call U-Haul for me. The point is, it's about what you get in return. Never forget cost. Never forget price when you're doing an equation of a transaction.
I love this show because we talk finances, we talk stats, we talk sports, we talk sociology. Marcellus, a robe may have a price. Marcellus, Aaron Rodgers may be worth 3, 4, 5, 6 first-round picks. But you know what's priceless?
What?
Super Bowl.
See, the one he can't get to?
If the Patriots knew that Tom Brady was about to take the Bucs to a Super Bowl, don't you think they would have done whatever necessary to retain him?
You would think so.
If the Buccaneers knew for certain that they were going to get to a Super Bowl with Tom Brady, don't you think they would have paid him whatever necessary? Because some things are priceless. I know some of y'all think, well, you can buy a Super Bowl ring. Nah, you can't buy the value. You can't buy the experience.
Say that.
So some things sell are priceless. You know, the problem in life, and this isn't just sports, this is life in general, we are fascinated with mystery. So many people are like, man, if you could trade Aaron Rodgers for a first-round pick or 2 first-round picks, you got to do it. You're not going to get Aaron Rodgers back for those 2 first-round picks.
No, you're not.
You're not. So you might as well keep the Aaron Rodgers that you have more than trying to trade and manipulate Aaron Rodgers into something you can't really utilize anyway. Because the other thing is, Packers, y'all don't know how to draft if we keeping it a buck. So if you're Aaron Rodgers, y'all just drafted Jordan Love in the first round, so y'all don't know how to draft.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm being real.
Devontae Adams.
So if
Aaron Jones.
So if you're the Packers, yeah, we could trade him, get a couple firsts, but a couple firsts is not the same as Aaron Rodgers. You know that.
I do know that, but actions speak louder than words, right? Acho, they can say how much they love Aaron Rodgers. They can say we are never getting rid of Aaron Rodgers because you'll never get Aaron Rodgers in return. But they did draft Jordan Love. There's a divorce proceeding right now that Aaron Rodgers has not went to the courtroom yet, but it's occurring in his absence.
Can you not divorce Love?
Look, you don't divorce the age. Like, this is their midlife crisis. They going young, bruh, even if it's not better. Like, a lot of my friends, I'm in my 40s, mid-40s, I'm 46. A lot of my friends are getting divorced. I'm like, that grass ain't greener. And those waters are deep, and they're not the best fish to swim with right now, but hey, I'm going to go and figure this out. I'm going to go through your house, Acho. You got another robe. It's small. It's all shriveled up. But I bet you put it on if I take that other one for $100,000. Coming up, Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes are both headed to the Super Bowl. But we'll tell you which quarterback had the more impressive season. Next, speak for yourself.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Tom Brady is headed to the Super Bowl for the 10th time, but his first as a Buccaneer. Brady finished in the top 3 in touchdown passes and yards this season. All of that at the age of 43. Now, on the other side, Patrick Mahomes making his 2nd straight trip to the Super Bowl, and his Chiefs only lost 1 game when he was in the lineup this season. So, Marcellus, who had the more impressive season? Was it the GOAT, Tom Brady, or the baby GOAT, Patrick Mahomes?
Baby GOAT, we doing that? Baby GOAT? What if he loses in the Super Bowl?
He's still bad.
One Super Bowl win in 3 years, and you're a baby goat. You ain't jack. You're just a Super Bowl winner, and there are a long list of those guys. It's Tom Brady. Let me tell you why. Let me keep this simple. We played in the era where coaches were still out there being archaic with their meat and potato speeches. Defense wins championships, right? And then all of a sudden, some of these smarter coaches start saying, I know this is not popular in belief, but a greater offense would beat a great defense. And this is where we are right now. If I told you that this year, Tom Brady threw more touchdowns and led his team to more points per game than Patrick Mahomes, what would you say? I hope you would say, Marcellus, you're preaching. That's the truth. But I know that there's going to be some opposition to that, or there's going to be a counterpoint. But Tom Brady at 43 did that, beat Patrick Mahomes at Patrick Mahomes' game, which is scoring points and throwing touchdowns. But more importantly, he did it on a team that he had to get to know on the fly. He went to a losing team and did this. Patrick Mahomes is the Super Bowl champion quarterback who went back to the same Super Bowl champion team and went out there and did what Patrick Mahomes did, which was still less than what Tom Brady did. So unless you hit me with something else, big dog, it's by the numbers and it's by the logic.
Let me hit you with this. One, it's Patrick Mahomes. But I'm going to hit you with this because it's much easier to be the hunter than the hunted.
Is it?
Much easier. I've definitely been the hunt. Marcellus, here is why when people get into that Power 5 conversation, you know, that college football conversation, don't put in a non-Power 5 school. Yes, a non-Power 5 school can go hunt Alabama down one time. Hunt Florida down one time. Yeah. But it's a lot harder when you are the Alabama, the Florida, the USC, and you're getting everybody's best shot.
Central Florida and all that. Like
Kansas City, the Chiefs, they get everybody's best shot. They won a Super Bowl last year. So going into this year, everybody's like, hey, if we beat them, you know, we just knocked off probably the best team out there. But if we beat them, we're going to be one of the best teams out there. You're getting everybody's best shot. Oh. To me, that's more impressive than anything the Buccaneers and Tom Brady could have accomplished. But let's also go this. Only 5 quarterbacks have gone 14-1 or better in a season. I say 14-1 because Patrick Mahomes was so good, he didn't have to play the last game. Otherwise, 5 quarterbacks have gone 14-1 or better. Patrick Mahomes on that list. Tom Brady also on that list, but that was 13 years ago. Anything that Tom Brady truly accomplished this year, Patrick Mahomes accomplished just at a higher clip. So Tom Brady had a phenomenal season, not taking it away from him, but Patrick Mahomes had a more impressive season as he hunted.
You just lost this argument because you just didn't want to win this argument. You just gave me a 14-1, and Tom Brady like, you want to go regular season to regular season? Oh, well, since you want to say you went 14-1 this year, how's my 16-0 look? Oh, it's not the same year. I get it. But Tom Brady could sun them in rings. He could sun them in better regular season.
This season, Sal, you're talking about the old school.
I'm going to go back to touchdowns and points. That's your game, Patrick Mahomes. How come you couldn't sun me there? Anyway, let me give you my experience, which is
your expertise.
My expertise. Taking recruiting trips everywhere. A lot of that I can't say on this show what occurred on those 48-hour trips. Woo! Changed my mind every time I landed.
They were showing you the highs?
And the highs and the... Yeah. I was like, I like it here. I love it, coach. Yep. That's all I can say. The point is, I was getting recruited. I'm going recruiting. You know how recruiting trips are. You went to Texas. I can only imagine. Lord. And then I went to Columbia. And I love New York City just in fascination. I've never been before. First time I land, it's snowing. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm thinking of Beat Street and all these old breakdancing movies. I'm just waiting for somebody to pop lock in the airport. And then I'm like, people just cursing you out. People who work for public transportation. Hey, I'm like, whoa, this is a different place. Everybody's walking and driving. I'm like, this is amazing. On a recruiting trip. And then, you know, they know that I'm a little different recruit. They're like, oh, we got to really get wily. So I had one of them real cool hosts who took me around town, and we had fun. It ended with this experience at the top of the Empire State Building. And our coach, Ray Tellier, and he's sitting there with the backdrop of the New York City skyline, and he's sitting there on the top floor, and he looks at everybody, and he has this select group. It's not all the recruits, it's just a few of us, the ones who had options. And he says, guys, would you rather go somewhere and carry the torch, or would you want to come to Columbia and light the torch? Yay! Whoa! Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay, the Columbia of the NFL, and said, brother, I don't want to go somewhere and carry the torch, which soon turns into carrying the water. He went there and lit the torch. He just wins once again.
Goodness.
Coming up, Matt LaFleur called out one of his coaches at the Sunday's loss. We'll tell you if we have an issue with his comments. That's next. Speak for yourself. Gotta light it. Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. The Bucs are on their way to the Super Bowl, and this play is a big reason why. Tom Brady hit Scotty Miller for a 39-yard touchdown pass to end the first half. The touchdown put Tampa up 21-10, and Green Bay was never able to recover. Matt LaFleur called out his defensive coordinator, Mike Pettin, after the loss. Take a listen.
Yeah, it was man coverage. Definitely not the right call for the situation. And you can't do stuff like that against a good football team and expect to win. That really was a big difference in the football game. You just can't do that stuff.
Ooh, spicy nuggets. So, Acho, you have an issue with Matt LaFleur calling out Mike Pettin?
I do, Marcellus. What is the age-old phrase? When you point one finger,
Yeah.
you got three pointing back at you. The problem is with LaFleur calling out Mike Pettin is, come on now, you made the first mistake of the game, and you really made the last mistake of the game, Matt LaFleur. First mistake of the game. Y'all won the coin toss. You won the coin toss. Receive. You defer. You now let the Buccaneers start with the football. Matt LaFleur, you should know, of all people, Tom Brady, playoffs, 10-1 when he scores first. So if you defer, you let Tom Brady show up in your house, your home stadium, start off hot, 9 plays, 60 yards, touchdown. If you don't defer, if y'all receive the football with the best quarterback in football, all of a sudden you go down and score first, different in the game. It's the difference in the mindset. It's the difference in the momentum. It's the difference in the mentality, difference in the game. Then, Matt LaFleur, you can't point a finger because I'm three pointing back at you. What's the other finger that's pointing back at you? 4th and 8. My 4th and goal from the 8. Go for it. Because if you don't go for it, you still got to go get a touchdown. So you was tripping there as well. I have an issue with that pointing the finger, Sel, because every now and then age-old phrases, they do ring true, and it rings true in this moment. Matt LaFleur, you point that finger at Pettin if you want to. Just remember, you got a couple pointing back at you.
Let me play both sides of the ball here because I have a problem with it and I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with it in the sense of, look, if you're trying to create a championship culture, if you're trying to just have a team building exercise, or if you're just trying to make sure that your team understands that we need to be accountable, then this is a situation, if you're Matt LaFleur, where you got to keep this in-house and be direct. Here's the other thing, though. To create accountability, sometimes you have to say the hard truths, and sometimes it has to hurt, even from the outside coming in. And that could be to the media. So I'm kind of torn. I didn't like the medium, but I do love the fact that he spoke the truth in this situation. Now, the problem is, what is it? He without sin cast the first stone.
Look at you. That's your third verse. That's your third. I'm so proud of you, Marcellus. You be reciting them same 2 verses, and you just gave me it.
And Genesis is the first book. You want to keep going? Here's the thing. Hey, bro, but also, let's be real. This dude out here tripping. Since 2000, there have only been 3 instances in the postseason of a team allowing a touchdown pass of 35 or more yards in the final 10 seconds of the first half. And all 3 have been to the Green Bay Packers. And this one, to you, Matt LaFleur, on your watch. So I think when you know you have made several egregious errors in a football game, to go up there and grandstand for your team to watch when they already have doubts and questions about your performance in that same game, I think that he had a miss in this one.
Can we go a little bit deeper, Sel? Because I don't think a lot of fans at home know coaches on headsets, specifically offensive coaches, even if they're not calling the plays, they're hearing the plays called.
Yeah.
Right? Which means they are vetoing the plays called. But oftentimes, y'all probably don't even realize this at the crib watching the show right now. Offensive coaches don't really know a lot about what's going on with their defense. Because if there was a day and age or a coach in the league who's not only hearing the offensive plays being called, but in pivotal moments of pivotal games, hearing the defensive plays being called, you might hear Matt LaFleur as the head coach. Wait a second. Did I just hear a man call come through.
They're on a man.
We're from the 39-yard line, and the Buccaneers have no timeouts. And not only are we running man, we're running man called one robber, so our other high safety is now playing low. And I'm playing against a coach whose mantra is no risk it, no biscuit. Them good biscuits, too, with honey. Popeyes. Shout out. If I'm Matt LaFleur and I hear that, I'm vetoing that. You're either coaching it or you are letting it happen.
Yes,
So
exactly.
Matt LaFleur, you did not coach that defensive call, but you let that call happen. Point one finger if you want to. Some is pointing right back at you.
What a thumb doing?
Coming up. The thumb's not pointing.
It's up somewhere.
Coming up, Uncle Jimmy. He got something to say about Tom Brady. We gonna get his thoughts on that GOAT talk. That's next. What up,
Before we go, Uncle Jimmy joins us. We broke down the GOAT talk with Tom Brady earlier, but Uncle Jimmy, here you have an issue with Acho's opinion. Get him on.
Hey, Acho.
What up, Unc?
Wiley's right.
About what?
You need to get your ass back in the barbershop and get the hell out them beauty salons trying to be cute for them women just to increase your book sales.
Get him on.
Because, boy, you starting to lose touch with reality.
Talk to him, homie.
Hey, Wiley, did I hear this boy just brag about the fact that he spent $60 for a haircut and that's not including tips? Hey, man, my little cousin, Big Filthy, just got out the joint the other day. He will cut your hair for 2 suits and a honey buns, no questions asked. But you know what? I'm not even going to give you his number because you too big time now.
Ooh.
See, you what old people say, you done started smelling your own drawers. Hey, man, the question was real simple. Is Tom Brady the greatest athlete ever?
And he's not.
And the answer's a simple yes. Tom Brady's been to 10 Super Bowls with his chance to win at 7. He's going to be a legend, win or lose. You still ain't figured out the difference between the best and the greatest. The best is your wife. The greatest, you'll never remember her name. You just met her at Freaknik. You too young.
Uncle, you wearing an undershirt?
Hey, Fox Bet Live next. Y'all handle that.